Let's talk about bearings. So bearings just tell you the direction of where something is, and they're always measured clockwise from north. And so what it means to be measured clockwise from north, so it just means you start at north, right? And then you kind of make the angle to that point. So like this, for example, and if this was 135 degrees, then that is the bearing, 135 degrees. Okay. One thing to also note is that bearings are written with 3 digits. So if you had this, right, and this was like 55 degrees, then the bearing for this point right here would be 0, 5, 5 degrees. So just remember, you always need to have 3 digits. So here we're asked to find the bearing of each point. To find the bearing of A, you have to remember that it starts from the north and then it goes clockwise. So it starts from north and goes clockwise, right? And to figure out what this angle is, right? I'm just gonna write this. You know that all of these angles add up to 90 degrees because it's a right angle. And so you can just do 90 minus 35, okay, this angle right here, and you should get 55. Sorry, not 55, 0.55 degrees. Because remember, they always have 3 digits. All right, so here we have another bearing we need to find. So to find B, right, it starts north and goes clockwise. So that's the angle it's going to make. And we know that this angle is a right angle, right? So it will just be 90 degrees plus 45, which is 135 degrees. All right, so to find the bearing of C, you start clockwise from north till you hit the bearing. Now, to figure out what that blue angle is, right, you want to do 90 plus 90 plus whatever this angle is. And I know that this angle would be 60 degrees, okay? Because these two added up make 90 degrees as well. So this will be, I'm just going to write 180. Okay, that's just 90 plus 90 plus 60 equals to 240 degrees. All right, so let's look at this question. A ship travels south for 5 kilometers, then on a bearing of 120 degrees for 11 kilometers. Find how far east the ship is from its starting point corrected 2 decimal places. So what's annoying is that they don't give us a diagram, so you do have to draw it out. So we know that the ship, right, travels south 5 kilometers. So maybe here somewhere. This is 5 kilometers. And then on a bearing of 120 degrees. So if you think about it, 120 degrees, right? You know, maybe I'll go here. It's roughly going in this direction, 120 degrees. And so I will put it here maybe. Okay, so that's what the ship's journey kind of looks like. And this will be 11 kilometers. So what I can do, right, is I can construct a triangle here. And I'll show you why I'm doing that. So this is a right angle triangle. And I actually know what this angle is right here. Because they tell me this is a bearing of 120 degrees. So this whole thing is a bearing of 120 degrees. And I know that this is 90. Okay. And so because that's 90, right, this has to be 30 degrees. Because 30 plus 90 equals to 120. Right? And so I'm just going to draw the triangle here so it's easy to see. I should do a different color. So a triangle looks like this. 11 kilometers, 30 degrees. That's a right angle. And I'm trying to find how far east. So this thing right here, let's call it X for now. And if you remember from trig ratios, right, this is a cos problem. So I can use cos 30 degrees equals to adjacent, which is X, over hypotenuse, which is 11. And so X is going to be equal to 11 times cos 30 degrees. And when you type this in the calculator, you should get 9.53 2dp. Okay, because it asks for 2 decimal places. And so I know that because this is 9.53, That is how far east the ship is from its starting point. So this part asks us to find how far south the ship is from its starting point. So this thing right here will tell us how far south it is from its starting point, plus the 5 right here. Okay, because it traveled south at the beginning. And we need to figure out what this thing is. And to do that, I can consult my triangle that I made here. So let's call this y. Now I'm going to get rid of this, right? Because this is an approximation to 2 decimal places. But I know that 11 kilometers is exact, so I'll be using that instead. It'll give you a more accurate answer. And so in this case, right, I can use sine, which is equal to y over 11. And so y is equal to 11 times sine 30. This should give you 5.5. And so since this is 5.5 kilometers, how far south it is, right? It's just this 5 plus this other 5.5. And if you added it together, you should get 10.5 kilometers. So just to remember for these questions, always make a triangle and then use the trig ratios to find the sides you want. And yeah, that's it for bearings.